Work harder, give up, or just say the other guy cheated.
Cheaters! Yeah. Cheaters! You've been cheating!
Democrats are staring at the shellacking of a lifetime. They see the polls, they see the headlines. So what are they going to do? Are they going to work harder? Are they going to roll over or say Republicans are cheating?
Right-wing extremists already have a plan to literally steal the next presidential election. And they're not making a secret of it. The right-wing controlled Supreme Court may be poised to rule on giving state legislatures, yes, you heard me that correctly, state legislatures the power to overturn presidential elections. Just think, if that happens, the 2024 presidential election could be decided not by the popular vote or even by the anachronistic Electoral College, but by state legislatures, many of them Republican-controlled.
Hillary thinks the Supreme Court is going to dump the Electoral College. That's not going to happen. Democrats are getting into their bag of tricks a little too early here. Usually you lose and then you claim you got cheated. Hillary is premature election denying. Bill doesn't have that problem. So where's the media? This makes 3 elections that Hillary says have been stolen: 2000, 2016, and 2024. Why is she undermining faith in our democracy? Remember Kari Lake in Arizona shamed reporters over all that?
If you're going to start throwing around terms like election denier, let's remember who the other election deniers were: Hillary Clinton and all the Democrats. Let's talk about election deniers. Here's 150 examples of Democrats denying election results. So it's okay for Democrats to question elections, but it's not okay for Republicans.
See, you're only allowed to question Republican victories. Democrat victories are squeaky clean.
You can run the best campaign, you can even become the nominee, and you can have the election stolen from you.
We had this little election back in 2018, and despite the final tally and the inauguration and the situation we find ourselves in, I do have one very affirmative statement to make. We won.
Republicans questioned the last election because their October surprise was hijacked. The CIA, FBI, Facebook, Twitter colluded to kill the laptop. That shifted votes to Joe. That's an undeniable fact. But when Democrats lose elections, they say Republicans cheat without any evidence. Why? So they don't have to own up to their failures. Claiming 2024 is being stolen is easier than coming up with a plan to fight inflation. Plus, only Nazis fight inflation.
I'm not going to say that, the GOP are Nazis at this point or whatever, but it certainly sounds very familiar to what happened in Germany, which is a bunch of citizens. Adolf Hitler gets a third of the vote. Nobody thought it could happen there. They kind of went along because they said he was going to solve the economy and fix inflation.
Yeah. When it comes to terms that are considered polarizing, terms like fascism and Nazi are considered to be polarizing terms. But unfortunately, those are the correct ways to describe what is happening with Republicans.
That's the Democrats' excuse for not fighting inflation? Because Adolf did it? Lowering gas prices is fascist, so go buy a Tesla? The White House was asked about the Republican plan to stop spending so much money, and Pierre, take it away.
It is reckless.
Good. Well said. No wonder they want to talk about January 6th all day, when that's their economic message. And guess where January 6th ranks in the list of issues voters care about? January 6th ranks 19th on the list of important issues. 19th. So naturally, NBC led with it yesterday morning. The Peacock Network hosted a panel of Trump Republicans, and the reporter, Elise Jordan, asked the group about January 6th, trying to embarrass them, But she ended up being the one embarrassed herself, because the Trump voters knew more about what happened that day than this so-called reporter. First, she tried baiting them into saying Trump incited the riot.
Do you think that President Trump could have quelled the violence?
Not him personally.
I don't think so, no.
I don't think so.
It started while he was still speaking. I was actually there. I was there to see what I thought was going to be the last time I ever saw Trump. Little did I know.
So did he tell everybody to go and start rioting?
No.
I didn't think so.
No, and it actually, I stayed for the whole speech, like a ton of people did.
Mm-hmm.
And then we all headed to the Capitol because he said, let's go to the Capitol and peacefully.
So-called MAGA Republicans know more about January 6th than the network that's been covering January 6th for 2 years. You see, the people don't need to get their news from NBC anymore. The people can get their news directly from the source. We don't want it filtered through a liberal lens. Deep down, the Democrats and the media know they're losing. They're losing touch with the people, and they're losing control over the people. So they're going on television and now begging foreign countries to interfere in our election. Exactly what they claim Trump should be impeached for.
If people don't show up and vote in November in these midterms, we will have to have other countries sending monitors to America to watch our votes.
The threats to our elections in, 2.5 weeks are so pervasive and they're so dire and they include violence. I mean, do you think it's time to ask for friends and allies to come over and help us monitor our elections? We used to do that in other burgeoning and threatened democracies.
Hey, Trudeau, can you paint your face black again and come to Philly and brandish a billy club outside of that polling station? The Black Panthers are a little busy this election. What would happen if I begged the Australians to help us count the votes in Arizona? You know, send some monitors to Maricopa County just to make sure no one messed with it. I'm sure the FBI would be at my door the next morning, pulling me out of my bed in my underwear. A CNN crew just happens to be out on the street. I'd be thrown in jail, and it'd probably be the first time Democrats don't let someone out on bail. Let's turn to Tulsi Gabbard, a former Democratic presidential candidate and Congresswoman. Tulsi, Hillary Clinton says the Republicans are already stealing 2024. I didn't think that was even possible.
Yeah, what year are we in, Jesse? I forgot. I think we're just a few weeks away from the 2022 election. Look, Jesse, everything that they're doing and what they're saying here, unfortunately, has a really, really negative effect on our democracy. Essential to the survival of our democracy is that we, the people, as voters, have faith in the integrity of these elections, that when we go to the polls, as we will here in just a couple of weeks, and cast our votes, our vote will be counted. And that's how our voice is heard in this country. So, you know, when people raise questions about, hey, is there integrity in our elections? Should we be concerned about hacking of electronic machines? Should we be concerned about, ballot harvesting and people trying to cheat through our elections? Yeah, there are legitimate questions and concerns that people are raising, and those in positions of power in both parties have a responsibility to vet those concerns and to increase people's trust in this system, passing reforms like legislation I introduced when I was in Congress that said, hey, we know these electronic systems are susceptible to hackers. I think it was a 14-year-old girl. It took her like 10 minutes to hack into a voting machine at a hackathon in Vegas. So let's make sure we've got paper records of every vote that's cast, either a paper ballot or a paper record on an electronic machine. That's an easy one that should have already been done.
A hackathon.
Voter IDs. Let's make sure people they have those, yes.
Usually people don't go to Vegas for hackathons. It's usually something different.